What's going on, y'all? Welcome to my page, Behind the Scoreboard 215. What I wanted to do was drop a video for my Week 4 predictions before the Thursday night game. I've had technical difficulties, so I'm hoping I get this up in time before the game. But what we have right now, Thursday night, we have the Cowboys heading over to the Giants in our Thursday night showdown. The Cowboys, excuse me, they're on a two-game losing streak. But they are favored to win against the Giants. Dak Prescott has had good performance every game against the Giants, so that might help him out in this game. Coming into the season, the Cowboys were contenders for the NFC East, but now they're struggling. They're 1-2. Particularly, their run defense is horrible. They've allowed 274 yards against the Ravens last week and 190 rushing yards against the Saints. Like, you can't win in the league if you're allowing that many rushing yards. Teams are just going to rush all over you. I feel like defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer has to decide if he's going to focus on stopping the Giants' rush and then potentially risk being exploited by Daniel Jones and Malik Neighbors through the air. Personally, I want the Cowboys-Giants game to end 0-0 with a tie, but I think it's going to be 27-17 Cowboys, unfortunately. But who knows? If they can stop the run, it could be a good game for them. But if the Giants running back gets going, this game could go the other way, and the Giants could pull off a victory. And they are at home, so we'll see what happens. The Falcons, they are hosting the Saints. This is a tight NFC South matchup. The Falcons are favored slightly to win this game. The Saints do have a strong record in Atlanta, but the Falcons are expected to edge them out. After two strong games, the Saints they lost against the Eagles, which I love to hear. Everybody was saying the Saints were going to beat them. They had coming into week 3, they only allowed like 29 points and they put up 91 in the first two games. But the Eagles did their thing. But so they're looking to bounce back after that loss. Derek Carr in the offense, they're looking to just bounce back. The Falcons, they're coming off of a close loss to the Chiefs. They're still trying to find their offensive rhythm. It just seems like something's off there. I can't pinpoint it. I've watched highlights of some of the game. I just can't figure out what it is. Atlanta's roster on paper, it looks good, but I don't know. Something just not right there. The Saints, though, they've been playing more of a complete and efficient football game so far. But I do have the Falcons coming out of that game 24-21. Excuse me. The Bears, they're hosting the LA Rams. The Rams saved their season last week in a dramatic win. It was a comeback win against the 49ers, which improved them to 1-2. I feel like if they fell to 0-3 coming into week 4, there's no chance of them making the Super Bowl, and that's the overall goal, is to make it to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. They've been plagued with a bunch of injuries. Cooper Kupp is out. Puka Nacua is out. Nacua, excuse me. But Matthew Stafford and Kyron Williams, they've held the team down over the past. The Chicago Bears, they're also 1-2. They've lost 2 straight road games, including a close one against the Colts. However, Caleb Williams, he's keeps showing more and more improvement. He's passed for 363 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, but he has struggled with his interceptions. I do have the Rams winning this game in a close one, 20-19. The Packers, they're hosting the Minnesota Vikings over at Lambeau Field. The Vikings, they've been a surprise this season. They're starting off 3-0. They've been dominating the league right now. Their defense is top in the league. They're forcing turnovers. They have 16 sacks in the first 3 games. Um, and they just came off of a decisive win against the Texans. I didn't expect that win to go like that. I thought they would have won, but I thought it would have been a more contested game. Um, Jordan Love is expected to return for the Packers, but I don't know. I don't know what's happening right now. But the Packers, they have thrived under Malik Willis. He's started 2-0 as a quarterback. So I think that the odds would change a little bit more if Jordan Love starts. But either way, I do have the Packers pulling this victory off 28-26. But if Jordan Love starts, then it could be a little bit more. Excuse me. I have next game we're going to talk about is going to be the Colts. They're hosting the Steelers. The Steelers, they're coming in to this game also undefeated. They're 3-0. The Colts are 1-2. I feel like Justin Fields, he's gaining confidence in his overall game. He's becoming a threat, not only passing, but rushing also. I don't know right now if it's time to talk about the Steelers as an AFC contender, a top AFC contender, but right now, for the first 3 games, they've allowed 10 points or less, and they've been forcing turnovers. You can't go far in the NFL if you're only putting up 10 points. On the other hand, the Colts have found some momentum. They beat the Bears last week. But Anthony Richardson, he's prone to mistakes. I do have the Steelers defense pulling this off. It might be a defensive game. I have them winning 21-17. The final injury report isn't out yet, so I mean things could change between now and then. But that's my prediction as of right now. Next, we have the Broncos hosting the Jets. Right now, the Jets are looking great. Aaron Rodgers is looking like Aaron Rodgers from the Packers. He has a good team behind him also. He has his running back, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, and Alan Lazard, who he played with also in Green Bay. I have them pulling off this victory 24-17. But Bo Nix, their rookie quarterback, he's playing well under Sean Payton. So far, I think he's exceeded expectations so far. But I feel like the Jets defense is just going to put a lot of pressure on him, and that's going to slow him down. So he's not going to have as good of a game as he's had over the past couple of weeks. But like I said, he's been holding it down for a rookie quarterback. He looks okay. But once again, my prediction is 24-17. The Eagles, they head into Tampa Bay. I think this is going to be a revenge game. I feel like the Eagles have a lot to prove in this game. They've lost 2 years in a row in wild card matchups to the Buccaneers. So we're going in there with a mindset like we have to beat them. We can't lose 3 games straight to them. Like it's crazy. I know AJ Brown is going to be out, Devontae Smith is going to be out, and Lane Johnson. So we have to heavily focus on getting the ball to Dallas Goedert and rushing the ball. Like give the ball to Saquon. Like let him do his thing. Past games, Dallas Goedert and Saquon both had phenomenal games. So if they continue to do that, I feel like we could come out and win this game. Tampa Bay, they had a strong start to the season, but they suffered a 26-7 loss against the Broncos last week. Pat Surtain, he pretty much shut down Mike Evans. Nothing happened there. But the Bucks, they do have a high-powered offense. They have Godwin, Mike Evans. So we just have to shut them down. Once again, this is a revenge game for me. That's how I would go into that game. What's next? The Panthers, they're hosting the Bengals. The Panthers struggled early, but they found a spark in week 3. Andy Dalton led them to a 36-22 victory over the Raiders. That's another game I wasn't expecting because the Raiders were playing really well. Gardner Minshew was finding Devontae Adams and tight end Brock Bowers. Yeah, the Bengals they still haven't had a win. They lost to the Patriots, the Chiefs, and the Commanders, and I feel like their defense is just getting worse game after game. Personally, I don't see them going into into week 5, 0-4. I feel like this is a game where they get their stuff together and pick up a victory. If not, it's not even a chance for them to even be in talks as contenders for going to the Super Bowl. I don't even think they might make the playoffs if they lose this game. But I do have them winning 27-13. But we'll see what happens. The Texans, they're hosting the Jackson Jaguars. The Jaguars, they're also 0-3. They're struggling to find their footing this season after another blowout loss. They have 3 straight losses. They're looking to get their first win against Texas. Texas had a lopsided loss against the Vikings, so who knows what's everybody's mindset going into week 4. Houston, even though they lost last week, they still lead in the AFC South. So if they win this game, they can position themselves better for the end of the year. I do have the Texans coming out of this game 24-20, but we'll see what happens. The Cardinals, they're hosting the Commanders. The Commanders are riding high after their victory over the Bengals, showing that they're not the underdog and the team that no one has to really worry about when they're playing them. Their offense is performing pretty well. The defense, they still do have some gaps, especially rushing. And I think that defense is going to be tested. The Cardinals, I think they're going to push this game. I think it's going to be a close one. I have the Cardinals coming out 27-25. But the final injury report isn't out, so I'm not sure what's going to change between now and Sunday, right before the game. So I'll keep you guys updated and let you know if there's any dramatic changes. The 49ers, they're hosting the Patriots. They're looking to bounce back after their week 3 loss against the Rams. Right now, they're 1-2. They're at the bottom of the NFC West. Injuries have plagued them since the beginning of the season. Christian McCaffrey hasn't played one game yet. Deebo Samuel's been out. George Kittle's been out. But they're still expected to beat the struggling Patriots. The Patriots defense is poised to dominate. Brock Purdy, he aims to build on last week's performance. So we'll see what happens. On the other side, the Patriots, they're just lackluster. Their offense has been lackluster. And I feel like they're going to struggle again against the 49ers, who have a tough defense. Both teams, they're going into this game trying to shake off a disappointing loss in week 3. But I have the 49ers taking this one 31-17. I feel like it's going to be more of a defensive battle. Maybe the 49ers defense puts up a touchdown, maybe a pick 6 or a fumble for a touchdown. But we'll see. The Raiders, they are hosting the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are 1-2. And both teams suffered losses in week 3. The Browns narrowly lost to the Giants. That was a really close game. Deshaun Jackson, I believe he threw for 196 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Amari Cooper posted 86 receiving yards. The Browns defense struggled, though. They allowed 228 passing yards and 112 rushing. While their own rushing game was ineffective. Jerome Ford, I believe he had 35 or 40 rushing yards for the entire game. You're not going to win a game when you're only rushing for minimal yards. The Raiders, they got dominated by the Panthers, which was led by Andy Dalton. Both of their teams right now have issues. The Raiders can't establish the run game effectively, um, and they can't use Devontae Adams how they should. While the Browns, their defense is just underperforming, and Ford hasn't filled Nick Chubb's shoes yet. I don't think he will, but we'll see. I do have the Raiders winning that game 25-19. But once again, both teams are looking to bounce back in those games. The Chargers, they're hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City, they're going into this game 3-0. Looking to start the week 5 4-0. The Chargers, they're going to be without their star Darwin James. He's out for a one-game suspension due to a helmet-to-helmet hit on Steelers tight end last game. Despite injuries and Travis Kelce not showing up in the past couple games, the Chiefs' offense has stayed strong. Rashid Rice has stepped up as a top target. Kansas City is one of the few remaining undefeated teams, and I feel like this is going to continue into Week 5. They're facing their divisional matchup this season, so we'll see. The Chargers missed their chance to stay undefeated last week against the Steelers, and now they're facing more challenges against the Chiefs. I believe the Chiefs are going to win this game 24-19. The Ravens, they're hosting the Bills. The Ravens found their winning formula after 2 weeks. Run the ball, especially with Derrick Henry just powering the offense. Their ground game has been unstoppable. You saw what they did last week to the Cowboys. A few teams have the defense to handle it. The Bills have struggled against the run. I believe they allowed 120 rushing yards per game, and they can face even more trouble going into this game with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. I picked the Ravens coming out of this game 31-28, but I feel like it could be a close game. The Titans, they're hosting the quarterback-plagued Miami Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa is out. Skylar Thompson was injured. I'm not sure what's going on with the quarterback. With the quarterback right now, with the quarterback situation, excuse me. I've heard that they're trying to bring in Ryan Tannehill to help with the system, but who knows? Malik Willis, he's been playing pretty well. I don't really have much about this game. I feel like the Dolphins are going to pull off this victory, but they're struggling on their quarterback, on the quarterback side. So it really depends what happens. The Lions, they are hosting the Seattle Seahawks. Their offense has toned down compared to last season. Like last season, they had the top defense, especially with Sam Laporta off to a slow start with an ankle injury. I feel like Seattle is going to just have an overall good defensive game. Personally, I think the Lions are going to win this one, but the Seahawks defense is going to step it up. David Montgomery and Jamar Gibbs are going to have solid games this week to come off with the win. I feel like the game is going to be 28-21 to the Lions. That's my recap for week 4, or excuse me, my predictions for week 4. I'll keep you guys up to date with any injury updates or anything that hits before Sunday to let you know any changes. But once again, thank you guys for subscribing to my channel. Please like everything, comment, let's get some comments going. If you guys think that some of my predictions were off, let me know. We can talk about it. Thank you guys for everything.